What's up, guys? Got an awesome video blog for you. It's gonna answer a question that we all have been asking for so long, and finally Andrew from Boston sent it on in. Andrew wants to know, how do we calculate our calories on a daily basis? Regardless of our goals, how can we hone in and fine-tune the amount of calories that we're taking and make sure that we're on the right path to get to our goals? Andrew, that's a great question. Jump into this right away. Guys, I got a whiteboard, gonna do a few number crunching here. I know it's a little tough to see with the glares going on in here, but I'll explain everything slowly so you pick it up. So let's jump into this. So to find our daily calories, okay, our daily caloric intake, we need to first determine where we fall in terms of our daily activity level. So what I mean by that is, if you're someone who sits at the desk all day long and is, pounding the phones or typing on the computer all day long, and then they are not able to get to the gym until later in the evening, you're going to be on the lower end of daily activity level. But if you're someone whose profession is maybe a construction worker or someone who is constantly moving around and doing strenuous activity throughout the day, you're going to be on the higher end. And there's a scale. So it usually starts with the number 13 through 17, meaning if you're someone who sits at a desk and goes to the gym later on and kind of is an average gym goer, kind of gets a moderate to a moderate workout as far as intensity goes, you're going to be on the lower end. So you might be around a 13, 14 for your activity level. And then conversely, if you're a construction worker or you have very long, intense workouts, you're going to be on the higher end, 16 or 17. Okay. Another factor that goes into this is whether or not you're what's considered an ectomorph or an endomorph or a mesomorph. And these are generalizations for body types. Okay, an ectomorph is going to be an individual who is naturally really slim and skinny, very small bone structure, has a very hard time putting on mass and size regardless of how many calories they're eating. They're considered an ectomorph. Okay, then there's a mesomorph who is somewhat in between. I would consider myself mostly a mesomorph. It's not skinny but not stocky, somewhat athletic build naturally. Has a easy time losing weight and a easy time gaining weight. So their metabolism is very sensitive. And then last but not least, you have an endomorph, where you are a larger individual, you're stocky, you're brawny, and your metabolism is very slow, so everything you eat kind of turns into fat or you gain that bulk. That's an endomorph. So these are factors that help you determine which number you are to find this baseline number, which we're going to use to multiply to find our maintenance calories, or the amount of calories you need on a daily basis to maintain. So let me give you an example. I am a person who sits at the desk all day doing my business stuff, but I have a very intense workout at night, and overall I'd say I'm active. So I'm right in the middle. I multiply my body weight times 15. If you're someone who isn't as active, you would want to multiply your body weight times 13. Or if you're an individual who's in construction, you're going to want to multiply your body weight times 17. And it also aligns with what your goals are. So if you're trying to add weight, you're going to want to start with a higher number. If you are trying to lose weight, you're going to want to be more on the lower side, lower end of things. So let me give you an example. Let's take 200. And let me grab my calculator. All right, so what we'll do is take our body weight times our activity level, which is somewhat of a guess, but we know it's in between 13 and 17. I would recommend, regardless of your goals, to start lower because you can always build. You don't want to start too high and then have to cut and then gain again. Always start low and slowly build. I'll explain how to do that in a little bit. So we're going to take our body weight. For this example, we'll say 200 pounds times activity level. We'll say they're right in the middle, 15. Okay, 200 times 15, 3,000 calories. This person is going to have 3,000 calories a day to maintain. So 200 times 15, their activity level equals 3,000 calories maintenance. And I apologize if it's hard to see, guys. So that's the maintenance calories for this individual. Now, I would recommend starting there. Give it a few weeks, see what happens to your body. Just having a steady pace of calories is going to manipulate your body, and most likely in a positive way. So start there. But if you're not seeing any results, don't be quick to conclude anything until you've given it a fair shot, 4 to 6 weeks, I'd say, or even 8 weeks, and then start to manipulate the calorie amount. Maybe you were a little under, and if you feel like you're not gaining muscle and that's your goal, then add 500 calories. Don't add 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 calories. Slowly increase the calorie amount and make these small increases so you know you're not going over. If you say, okay, I'm not getting enough calories, I need to boost it, and then you throw in 2,000 calories, what happens? You're overfilling the tank, and there's gonna be overage, a spillage, and we don't want that because that turns into fat. We want to be, depending on what our goal is, if we're trying to build, we want to have just, if we're trying to maintain, we want the perfect amount of calories, exactly what our body needs to function at the level that we want it to. If we're trying to build mass, we want to be at that maintenance level, but slightly over, so we're oversaturating the body with nutrients, but not over, not to an extreme where we're slamming, ice cream and pizza and stuff. You have to be very responsible when you're bulking. So it's still having a controlled diet, but adding just a little bit more calories and slowly adding more and more and more. It's not a massive dump of calories. It's not a huge excuse for you to start slamming the pizza and the hamburgers all the time. Regardless of the word bulky, it's such a dangerous word. Don't lose the discipline and lose sight of the goal. You don't want to say you're bulking and completely lose your abs because you'll get out of control. Same is true with when you're cutting. You don't drastically drop all your calories, okay? You want to slowly decrease calories. So you're doing everything in a slow, steady, and healthy way. Letting your body slowly adapt, not completely cutting too quickly. So that's the reasoning behind it. Now, like I said, for this example, 200-pound person times 15 activity levels, 3,000 calories. Let's say this person wants to build muscle or put on mass. What they would want to do is, like I said, I would recommend that they stick to 3,000 calories for a few weeks just to see what it does, how their body reacts to it. And if they feel like they're starting to plateau or they're not continuing to grow, then add 500 calories to your daily intake, okay? So that person would be at 3,500, and they would do that for a few weeks, and their body would get used to it, and then they add another 500. So that's the goal, and the same is true for cutting. So everything is slow progressions, okay? Now that we figured out our daily caloric intake, in this case, 3,500 calories, what we're going to want to figure out next is what is the breakdown as far as macronutrients. It's called a macronutrient split, meaning how many of these calories are allocated to proteins, to carbohydrates, to fats. And these numbers are extremely important. Now, this is completely trial and error, so you have to be patient when you're going into such a dialed-in effort. Understand that higher carbs is going to have a different effect than lower carbs, and same with proteins and fats. And so it's like trying to figure out this perfect, trying to figure out the code to the combination lock. Okay, dial it in, dial it in, dial it in, click, that's how many grams of protein I need. How about carbs? Dial in and play around. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. Boom. Found the combination and the number for carbohydrates, and same for fats. And it's all trial and error until you can dial it in and unlock that safe. So we're going to start with 3,500 calories, and we're going to use what's known as a macro split. And there's different types, but the most common is called a 40-40-20, where it's 40% protein, 40% carbs, 20% fats. There's 30-50-20s, 50-30-20s, 45-35-15s, whatever it may be. There's different macro splits for different individuals, but the most common and a great baseline to start is a 40-40-20, where 40% of 3,500 calories, or whatever your daily caloric intake is going to be proteins, where 40% is going to be carbohydrates, and the other 20% is going to be fat. So let's do the numbers. All right. Okay, 3,500 calories times 40%. That's going to be 1,400 calories for protein. And because it's 40-40, you know, the other 40 is going to be for carbs. It's also going to be 1,400 calories for carbs. Now for fats, we do the same thing. 3,500 times 20%, or 0.20, is going to be 700 calories for fats. Okay? Protein, carbs, fats, boom. 1,400 calories for protein, 1,400 calories for carbs, 700 calories for fats. But we can break it down even more. If you're not familiar, guys, 1 gram of protein is equivalent to 4 calories. 1 gram of carbohydrates is equivalent to 4 grams or 4 calories. And then 1 gram of fat is equivalent to 9 calories. So 449, okay? 4 calories per gram of protein, 4 calories per gram of carbs, 9 calories per gram of fat. So it's important to know when we're trying to determine our overall gram amounts, okay? So we can convert these calories into grams, and it makes it a lot easier to count throughout the day. So let's take 1,400 times the gram amount. Okay, so 1,400 divided by the gram amount, which is 4, gives us 350 grams of protein a day. That's a lot, but we're trying to build size here. Same is true for carbohydrates, 350 grams. And last but not least, fats. So we take 700 divided by 9, because 9 is the conversion. It's going to give us 77.7, we'll round it, 77.8 grams of fat. So our overall split for the day, when we're going to plan our meals, is going to equate to 350 grams of protein, 350 grams of carbs, and 78 grams of fat. And then what you would do is kind of divvy those up throughout the day. You know, maybe you're a 3-meal type of person throughout the day, 6-meal. Make it so it fits your schedule and you're going to hit your goals. This is how you determine your daily caloric intake. Now play around with these numbers a little bit. It's going to be completely trial and error, but this gives you a baseline. This body weight times activity level is your maintenance. Add 500 or subtract 500 depending on your goal. Are you cutting or are you bulking? That is a fantastic place to start. Okay, you're going to see tremendous results regardless, as long as you stick to those. You stick to a consistent level of calories, your body's going to change and it's going to transform for the better. So stick to that, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to head to the gym, hit a little chest and back, so I'm out of here. Andrew, thanks so much for the message, buddy. I really appreciate it. For everyone else, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next video. Take care.